Again, I'm not saying that like Rue's thoughts aren't true or valid, but in that moment, in that situation, she lit that girl on fire emotionally. Oh, come on. We are the sheep of another fold, yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I don't want to do any small talk. You know why we're here by the title. Episode 3 of season 2 of Euphoria Recap. Recap, reaction, my thoughts, all the above. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into it. Previously on the last episode, we see that Jules and Elliot and Rue finally technically get acquainted. Rue and Elliot kind of kick it off a little bit. They have like their little hangouts because of drugs. Elliot kind of basically says, you know, maybe this friendship isn't the best. Cassie just digging ditches. And then right around the end of the episode, we see that Nate finally tells his dad the real reason why he got jumped. If you're gonna watch this video, know that there's gonna be spoilers. Spoilers. Cal's backstory. I know Cal has a reputation in the streets. I know that not many people care for him, but at the same time, I'm personally the type of person that likes to know backstory. It kind of gives me a better visual to see you as a person if I kind of know where you came from or what kind of made you think this way. It lets me see you, and when I see you, I can give you grace. I don't speak for everybody. I know people don't really think like that. First, I want to say 11 seconds, you see white male butt. Go subscribe and watch it yourself. You're not getting it on this channel. You're not getting it right here. We see Cal's story. He's in high school right now. And right off the bat, there's a connection made with him and this other dude. With a little bit of visual inference and Rue's narration, we can kind of pinpoint that this guy named Derek is Cal's best friend. Because we know Cal likes the boys, we can maybe also infer that there's going to be some feelings in this friendship. They look like they might be one-sided. I don't know. You know, that's the kind of vibes that I'm getting. We get it, repressed gay feelings, that's why you're in move along. Which is true of Cal's backstory. That's pretty much true. But there's more to the story and there's layers to it that could make it make a little bit more sense. Don't make it right. Does not make it right. But it makes it make sense. So Derek and Cal were closer than close. They were closer than brothers. They were the type of friendship that could just chill. They could watch movies. They could go on walks. They could just sit in silence. Like, they were that close. So there was obviously that emotional bond there. But then once you paid attention, you could see that there was obviously this sexual attraction, at least from Cal's perspective. The view of his backstory is all lining up to me, right? There's a point in the locker room where Cal is busted. Cal is busted with the eyes. Real quick, real smooth. And we don't know if Derek is welcoming this. We don't know if Derek is like, he's obviously busted, but he's obviously cool with it. So at this point, it's like, we don't know. But I don't know if y'all caught this like I caught this. The scene where they're, you know, laying in bed talking about their extracurricular activities with girls. Cal's dad busts in. He does what I call, let's see, what's another term for erection? Oh, well, I said it. He does an attention check on Cal, on Cal's little man down there. And Cal was like, nah, I don't want to get up. And his dad was like, oh no, get up. Cal's like, no, I don't feel good, Daddy. I'm not gonna move. Well, you felt fine when I walked in just a few moments ago. Come eat. What that tells me as a viewer is that, okay, so one, he has same-sex attraction, and 2, his family, at least his dad, is in on the game or can sniff it out. Once you add sexual attraction with emotional attraction, it's a wrap. He ends up meeting Marsha, his future wife and the mother of Nate and his siblings. She brings out the freak in him. Yes, she brought it out of him. Watch the episode. I mean, no place was safe. The bathroom, the carport, the car, behind the dumpster, on top of the dumpster. They were doing what some say teenagers were doing. Cal had a girlfriend, Derek had a girlfriend. They would have double dates and like skinny dipping nights and stuff like that. And they were on the same wrestling team, and sometimes they would match up against each other. And during one match, it was this weird exchange between Marsha and Derek. They were wrestling. He gave Marsha this look that was like, I see you and I'm here. And Marsha was like, are you threatening me, homeboy? At least that's what I perceived it to be. And then as they're fighting, Marsha is looking at it like as this weird competition thing. At the very end of their match, Derek kind of whispers to Cal and is like, it was very much so my territory type of vibes. And he said it to Cal, who just kind of folded like a wet puppy. And Marsha over there on the bench like, what do y'all think? Did anybody else catch that but me? I don't know. The school year goes on, graduation is approaching. Derek and Cal are both going to separate colleges, so they kind of want to make the last bit of this summer special. So it was Derek's idea for him and Cal to go celebrate, just the two of them. Derek's idea, just the two of them. So Derek snuck out, Cal snuck out, they went to this bar, right? And at first you're like, okay, so it's a rundown regular bar in town. And then all of a sudden you see men whispering, you know, 1 man, 2 man, 3 man, 4 man, 5 man, 6 man, 4 fish, red fish, blue fish. You realize that they're at a gay bar. And to me, you're making a statement. Somebody's saying something. Somebody's trying to say something. Somebody's trying to throw out a little hook. Somebody wants some questions to be asked. Somebody may even have some questions. Because Kyle was like, where are we? And I loved it. I was like, okay, that makes sense. And this is when you get ensured that the feeling between them are mutual. So now you're like, I thought this backstory was going in a completely different direction, but it wasn't. So they start having just a Stevie Wonder, You and I moment on the dance floor in this bar, wherever they are, and everybody's watching them and they're just having fun. Like, they're obviously kids. They're slow dancing to Never Tear Us Apart by NXS. They really love and they really care about each other. And you're like, okay, so this is a mutual thing. And then you're like, okay, like, I support it, but it's like, oh no. If they were mutual, that means that something happened. They're out of both of their control probably, and they couldn't be together. While I was enjoying their moment of romance, and while I was appreciating it, I was also feeling bad because I was like, damn, like for some reason this didn't work, and you both were down for the pound. No pun intended. And for some reason it didn't work. So yeah, so I was having conflicting moments. I was really sad, but I was also kind of like relieved, as in, okay, I know something about Cal now. Then the next morning rolls around and Cal gets a phone call and we're like, oh Lord. By the way that the camera is angled on him, you know that this is a serious moment, that this is going to be an acting moment. You know, this is going to be a moment because he's serving our face. We can't hear the other voice, but by his dialogue, we realize that it is Marsha. By his face, he's upset, which probably means that she's upset. And then all of a sudden you hear, well, did you take a test? Bam, she's pregnant. And that he did not want her to be pregnant by his reaction. But we do know that Cal was not happy to be a father, and that's enough right there for a awful home. And that was the intro. And I'm glad I got that intro because I was able to look back into Cal's story. I was able to kind of see where he was coming from as a human being and kind of piece together who he was as a, you know, psychotic human being that he became. Because yes, he is crazy and he needs help. He needs to be hugged. They all need to be hugged, yes. But he needs a good friend. He needs a good uppercut, and he needs a divorce. She wasn't pregnant for Nate, but she was pregnant for their firstborn son, Aaron. Because they were pretty young. They were right out of high school. Matter of fact, the character that played Nate's dad looked just like Nate now. It could be speculated that she may have done it on purpose because she wanted to keep Cal, and Derek was like, he's mine. And she was like, oh yeah? He's whose? Who does he belong to? Who? Was it on purpose? We don't know. It's a speculation, right? But Cal never wanted to be a father, and that is a huge, huge thing that we have to address as to the immediate downfall to that household. If you don't want to be a parent, it's very hard to have a fully healthy, happy household. So Rue comes in hot. She is lit. She comes in to a 50s crooner. I think it's Irresponsible. Da, 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 da. She is performing. It is opening night. She is on stage. This is her encore. Doesn't even realize that her sister is looking at her like, what? What on God's green earth? Are you high? She has no idea Gia is standing there looking at her and like, girl. So we get a visualization of, I guess, Rue's psyche, and she's decked out in this red dress in this classroom setting, and she's teaching us about drug addiction, right? Rue basically says, no guys, I've relapsed. Don't look for me for inspiration. Don't look for me for guidance, to be a martyr, a hero. I've relapsed, and it is what it is. So Professor Rue teaches us 101 about how to be a drug addict. And the very first rule she says is to find a cover drug. Now, a cover drug is usually like a softer, lesser intense, less addictive drug that the world considers a drug, and she chooses marijuana. I guess just to kind of get in her mind the idea of actually doing drugs again, she's like, hey, I'm probably gonna smoke some reefer. It does not go well. She was rather upset. Of course she was upset, right? Like no, like what do you mean you want to do marijuana? Like marijuana is a drug. You are addicted to drugs, multiple kinds, that you say that you stopped. Why would you even? Let me tell you, like I really feel for Gia. I feel for Gia because it's tough, right? You know, like you feel all these feels, like it's somebody who you love choosing in some way, even though it's addiction, and addiction are strongholds, but it's like seemingly choosing to kind of walk down certain paths or continue to go down certain paths that is harmful to themselves. You cannot love somebody and watch them go through that and it doesn't affect you. And this girl is young. This girl is a kid. She's probably in junior high or maybe high school now that it's been 2 years. No shade, HBO. They get into this fight. They get into this blowout fight. And the whole time they're fighting, like it's... Are they acting? Is this TV? Like, am I watching somebody's business? Like, it was so intense. It was so real for them to deliver that scene like that. There's obviously a connection that they have. That's obviously a strong friendship because their chemistry together was definitely giving me siblings. Even though there's a fictional story, I felt that fight. I felt Rue. I felt her regret. Why did I say anything? If there was any healing that Gia had done at that point, it was on jeopardy of getting destroyed. And I honestly don't believe that she actually cared. Just because of the gaslighting that she did on Gia. Yes, Rue took a gasoline pump, as high as gas is, she opened it and just sprayed it all over the living room on Gia. And then she took a match. Not even a lighter, she took a match. She wanted it to be known for its only purpose. That match had one job, was to light Gia up. When Gia said, you know what? You are selfish when you do drugs. When you do drugs, it's different from when other people do drugs. And what Gia is saying is, I know addiction is out there. I know people got problems. I know people got issues, but those are people. You are my sister. It's different for you. After Gia says that, Rue responds with, well, it's either drugs or suicide. At that point, Rue was maybe unintentionally gaslighting her. Even though it may have been true, she may really do have these thoughts in that moment because she wanted what she wanted. I feel like she kind of used that truth to manipulate that specific situation and her little sister. Because the minute Gia was like, okay, that's fine, as long as you promise not to do any more, Rue was, okay, you know, and that's a telltale sign of like, I got what I want, I'm out. Again, I'm not saying that like Rue's thoughts of suicide aren't true or valid, but in that moment, in that situation, she lit that girl on fire emotionally. Oh, come on. That was honestly really tough to watch because Gia gonna have to live through this. This is now a part of Gia's trauma. You see how that works? That's Rue's sister. They're only apart by a couple of years, if that. You know, that's gonna now be a part of Gia's baggage, unfortunately. You see Rue and Jules, and they're talking about Elliot, and Jules is like, do you think Elliot likes you? And Rue is like, no, Elliot don't. No. Jules that ain't enough for her. That's not enough for Jules. And she was like, well, I'm gonna find out for myself. And she interrogates Elliot, and she's like, you want to smash Rue? Are you gay? Are you straight? Do you like boys? What's your blood type? How tall are you with your shoes on? Do you like girls?
What are you doing here?
She kept interrogating him, and honestly, he couldn't really give any concrete answers now that I'm thinking about it. Which is, it's a red flag. On top of that, he's super charming. He's like a scripted, not natural charming. There's a natural charming that's still kind of like awkward and like unsure and like mysterious. But he's like a charming that's like, I've said this before, I've done this before, and I'm doing it again. Like it just came off nice, but it had that little bite of insincerity. Am I wrong? I don't know. Let me know down below. I could be wrong. But I do feel like it's going to be trouble. Trouble. So one night Rue was at NA and Jules and Elliot are just hanging out. They're just kicking it, them two. And Jules is like, I feel like there's something that you're not telling me. And Elliot is like, no, I think, no, I'm good. And Jules goes, look, do you have any interest? Like, do you want to hook up with Rue? Without hesitation, he's just like, absolutely. But then he was like, I don't think Rue is into me like that. And then what do you know, Elliot he starts to lay down the Mac on Jules. I called it. I knew it. He kind of starts laying it on Jules and she's eating it up. I don't trust it. I said what I said. I hope I'm wrong. I don't trust it. I done seen it before. And if he is up to no good, Elliot really doesn't know what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, but he doesn't know the effect of, if those are his actions and his intentions, the negative effect that they are going to have. I don't think he realizes that. So it's seeming like Jules and Elliot are having a real intimate bonding moment as friends or flirting, whatever the case may be. Now, I do think that Elliot's main focus and main target is Rue. Even though he feels like she isn't sexually attracted to him, it's a game to him now. And so if he has to go through Jules, so be it. It's a win-win for him. Lexi writes a play. So after the convenience store, she analyzes herself and she realizes that she doesn't like what she sees. She doesn't like what she feels. That's somebody who kind of sits back in life, who doesn't really take actions, who has so much stuff to say, who doesn't really say much, but she sees everything. She see it, just eyes. Like she sees everything, but she doesn't really say anything for the sake of hurting people, for the sake of being wrong, possibly for the sake of stirring the pot, for the sake of not being heard or understood. For whatever reason, she doesn't say much. So we see her as the observer type. So much so that she detaches from her reality. She kind of just sits back and watches her family argue. She watches her friend's life go to hell. She watches these things, and although she feels bad, like she doesn't really do much about it. She doesn't really step in. She minds her business, but almost to like unhealthy ways where like it affects her because, you know, her business is starting to eat her up. She kind of has detached from her physical reality, and now she sees her life as like this reality show where she's the star of it. She's the writer. She's the director of her reality show. I feel like there's some people out there that can relate to that, especially with this whole main character syndrome going on right now that drives me insane. Show. It is definitely, again, giving cognitive dissonance at its worst. You can even call this a dissociative disorder. She's really checked out. She's nowhere to be found. She's watching you though. She's paying attention, but don't ask for her. Don't ask for her opinions. Yeah. She begins to use writing as therapy. So she begins to write her life down using characters. And I would say that that is a very good therapeutic thing to do. That's how people get material from life. That's how people get inspiration for movies, is by their own life. I could definitely see myself writing a play about my life and the people in it. I could. But that's what she does, and it's great because we kind of see her kind of being authentic and real with what she sees, but not really doing it with herself, like she's doing it through character. So she's up till 4 a.m. writing, and then one morning she sees Miss Cassie creeping out the bed at 4 a.m. Class starts at what, 8 maybe? Even if we go with 7, that's still 3 to 4 hours. That why are you getting, you know, like why are you getting up? The first day she got up is to clear her mind, which I've done that before, don't get me wrong. But 3 hours is a lot. 3 hours is a long time. And so, you know, we question ourselves, like, what is her motive? And then very quickly we realize that baby girl's getting ready for Nate. Day after day, she is scrubbing, tugging, plucking, fluffing, scraping, dipping, priming, skimming, moisturizing, conforming to impress Nate, who doesn't pay her any attention. Day after day, he walks past her like she doesn't exist. Cassie, you're not acting smart. You're not acting like you have the sense that we know that you have, that we hope that you have. So she's looking dumb. So we think. Pay her any attention until one day, she comes in, nails did, hair did, makeup, outfit, looking just like Maddie's carnation milk twin. The writers of Euphoria are sick. They're sick. They're sick. Sick. They are sick. The writers are sick. This girl comes out looking just like a white version of Maddie. And Nate goes, I mean, it was a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a second. And that was all she needed. Baby was happy. Baby was ecstatic. Baby was feeling good. She was loving life. And when Maddie saw her, Maddie was like, bitch, what? I mean, it's great TV. Cassie's like, actually, no, my class this way. And she burns off, and Maddie is sitting there like, what is wrong with her? Then Cassie shows up to school in a Dukes of Hazzard. What's the girl? Marianne from the little farm girl from Beverly Hillbillies. She's looking very Oklahoma-ish. If you guys don't know what Oklahoma is, it's a very country, old kind of Western play from back in the day. Carnation Milk. It was giving foolery. It was giving confusion, giving desperate. And Rue makes a comment. Rue was like, are you auditioning for Oklahoma? Oklahoma is the play that they think Lexi is putting on. She gets insulted when Rue asks if she's auditioning for the play. Like, girl, no, do I look like I'm auditioning for the play? Yes. Yes, you do. Everybody's confused. Like, why can't you see that you look a mess? You know, the girls are confused. Cassie is confused. Everybody is confused. And, you know, Maddie was like, bitch, you better be joking. So then Cassie goes off in this very angst rant where she basically confesses her love for Nate and that Nate has love for her and that she doesn't feel bad for sleeping with him because him and Maddie were broken up for 3 weeks and 3 days, and that they can say whatever they wanted about her. They could judge her. She didn't care. She was the happiest that she ever was. But she didn't say any of that. She just said it to herself, staring in the mirror, because that was what? That was her guilt talking. She didn't say none of that. She didn't say not a word of it. She feels guilt for backstabbing her best friend, because she believes, or she really feels, that she's in love with Nate, but that she also is an awful person for doing that to her best friend. And so it's like, yes, you know, and it's like, you still want to feel bad for her, but it's like, girl, like, you are making these choices. Like, this is like, it's... But I am glad that she's feeling the guilt, because it shows that she is human, that she has a humane side, and that she still feels, you know, something for her fellow people. If she didn't feel bad, like, hello hell. So she's giving fake friend. And she's giving me fake friends for 2 reasons. First reason is she's really talking about herself and how she feels about Nate and what they've been up to, because for the last several weeks, Nate and Cassie have been bumping skins. This is not 50 Shades of Grey. This is high school. High school meets 50 Shades? No. Moving along. So Rue is one day, she's getting high, and she thinks to herself, it would be amazing if I could do all this, be high all day, every day for free. And that's when her brain starts to twirl. Pablo Escobar, her inner drug lord, came out. She apparently came up with this great plan, right? So she brings the plan to Fez. She goes, Fez, I got this great idea. Hear me out, check it. All I need you to do, and the moment she says she needs 5,000 worth of drugs, Fez is like, no, no. And she's like, wait, hold on, Fez. Wait, bro, just hear me out. Let me go ahead and explain myself. No. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. I don't want to hear what you have to say, Rue. I'm out. Gone with that bullshit. No, Rue. And so she's like, fine, I'm going to take my idea somewhere else. She brings the idea to Elliot. Elliot loves the deal. Of course he did. We still don't know what the plan is, but we know that Elliot loves it. She takes the plan to Lori, just so you can kind of picture how wacky this woman is in her life. Rue is sitting there trying to talk business to her, and then you got this busted can of biscuits man walking through the city. We don't body shame around here. He's a bad guy, and I thought it'd be funny. We got this busted can of biscuits walking, and Rue can't barely talk. And Lori's like, speak, child. Go on. Rue brings the business idea to Lori. Lori loves the idea. After hearing Rue's idea, it is a pretty smart idea. I'm not going to go into detail with what the idea is here. Go watch the show. But I will say that what she did was she gave y'all free game. I'm not saying do what she did. I'm not saying do what she said to do. Baby was talking. Baby was saying something wise. So Lori loves the idea. She agrees to give Rue a She agrees to give Rue a $50,000 suitcase worth of drugs. Yes, she does. This sounds like a great money idea. Here's this suitcase of drugs. Go out and make me some money. We re-up every month. And Rue is like, wait a minute, hold on. See, Rue is smart. To herself, she's like, look, I struggle with drugs. Maybe 50,000 isn't the wise decision. So Lori says 10K. She was good with that. She grabbed the suitcase, she gave it to Rue, and she says, oh, but wait, Rue. If you screw me on this, I will sell you to some real sick people. In the end, I always find my way to get my money back. High school. Rue is like herd. Rue goes riding down the street. Remember, riding, not driving, riding. These are high school kids. There's no cars, it's just bikes, except for Nate's rich self. She goes riding down the street happily with the suitcase of drugs. So one of the most highlighted, talked about parts of the episode is when Ashtray handles Cal. Cal was feeling a little depressed leading up to this time after he found out about the disc. He's like, oh man, all this is my fault. My son got beat up. People know what I do out there now. People know what I did. He's feeling some type of way. So he decides to take matters in his own hands again. And he pulls up to Fez and Ashtray's apartment. And while he's sitting in the truck contemplating God knows what, Ashtray walks up looking like a little angry puppy, holding a piece of metal to Cal's face and like, can I help you? Ashtray pulls him into the house. He sits down and Fez is like, bro, what are you doing? Like, why are you here? Is everybody in your family crazy? Cal is like,
you beat up my son,
so feel free to call the cops. That irritated Ashtray. No, you don't want us to call the cops because there's something that you did that you don't want us to know or you don't want people to know that's gonna land you in trouble. You call the cops. Who calling them here? You call them. Ash shotgun whips him and he's like, ow, why did you do that? And Ash is like, you have no place to talk. What does Cal do? Cal keeps talking. So much so that Ashtray calls his bluff. He's like, he throws his phone on the table. He's like, call the police. Since you keep talking about the police, call the police. Cal doesn't call the police. And so Ashtray continues to shotgun whip him so much until his head begins to bleed. And Fez, the guy who did what he did to Nate, is telling him to calm down. So you can imagine that Ashtray was going Ashtray on Cal's head. At this point, Cal is a mess, blood is dripping down his head. He ready to go and he starts spilling. He started talking, he started spilling tea. He started telling all his business. He started telling Nate's business. He's like, I'm only here because I didn't know how old she was. Fez is like, what? I didn't know. And Fez is like, wait, hold on. What are you saying, sir? Sir, what are you saying? He's talking about a disc. Fez is like, what? By the way, your son is in love with Jules. Cal did not know this. Cal is now seeing that his son may have sent him on an unnecessary rabbit chase. At this point, Cal is like, you know what? It wasn't even worth it. It wasn't even that good. Cal's ready to go. Cal is like, I just want to go home. Forget anything I just said. Y'all didn't know about this. Can I just leave? And Ashtray's like, no. And Fez is like, hold on, wait. Fez and Ashtray go off into a corner and we're left with Cal and oh yeah, Faye is there. Faye, go somewhere. Go clean the dishes. Go take the trash out. Go clean your room. Go brush your teeth. Go do something. And why does your lips look like that? Faye gets under my skin. Like, I don't know her purpose yet. We love everybody. She's a fan favorite right now. I know that she is, but in real life, she would press that nerve. But she's there. Fez comes back and like, look, we'll let you leave under one condition. Tell your knuckle-headed offspring to leave me, my homies, my family, my business, my world alone. Leave us alone. Cal can't really ensure this, but he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, he goes off. Broad daylight. So Ashtray and Fez agrees to let Cal go, and he does just that. Broad daylight, busted face. One of the last big moments of this episode is when Rue breaks Ali's little fatherly protective heart, and she is wrong for that. She is wrong. Okay, so picture this. Rue rolls into the NA meeting with the suitcase that she just got from Lori that is filled with $10,000 worth of drugs. Ali sees this and immediately he's like, no, what are you doing? Rue, what are you doing? She's trying not to make eye contact with him. She's nervous, she's sweating. She's sweating like a hooker in church. Is that problematic to say? I think that is. Like, I shouldn't say that. But she's sweating, she's hot, rightfully so. She has these extreme tweaker vibes where she is just, I mean, she's giving Dave Chappelle, Tyrone Biggums. So after the meeting, she goes and she tries to dip, real inconspicuously. Ali was there at the stairwell like, hold on, what you got in that suitcase? Where you going? Okay, Rue is crackhead quick, because without missing a beat, she says, it's just some books. And Ali is like, no, ma'am, no, he's not buying it. He's giving her some heat, very lovingly, but he's giving her some heat as one who cares about someone would do. Okay, see, love is also an action. allll is love in action. Love is also just a state of being. Love just is. And when you combine love in action with love just being, it is what it is, that, baby, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Combining what love is and just the state that it is with love in action, that's it. But Rue doesn't know how to handle that. Rue doesn't know how to appreciate when she has someone in her life that is really loving her. Because why? Narcotics. So what does she do? She disrespects him. To which allll is like, no. You don't tell me to shut the F up. What, girl? Rue? You gonna maybe go back to my old self? Rue goes below the belt, okay? She attacks his parenting. Now, we remember from the special episode that he confided in Rue. He opened up to Rue. He told her about his lack of parenting skills that really messed with him over the years, that kept him in addiction. He also told her about his domestic violence issue. She was using that information against him, which is, no, we don't do that. That's wrong. We don't, Rue, you in timeout. Wear my belt. Rue, you in timeout. For real. And allll was getting there. He basically said, you need to hush, because if you keep talking and if you disrespect me again, we're done. And then she goes for the jugular. She was already in timeout. Now she's about to do some penitentiary time. She says, what, allll? Are you gonna hit me now? Again, she uses another one of his vulnerable moments and something else that he confided in her to use against him as a weapon. She weaponized that trusting situation. Rue is reckless at this point. Allll? What? This is allll. What are you doing, baby? He told her that information about how he used to be physically abusive to his family, and she used that against him. She used it to weaponize him. It takes somebody who has a special kind of I don't really give a to weaponize something that someone gave you, to strategically do that to them in their face. She used those words to hurt him purposely in that moment, because why? Drugs. She wanted drugs so bad. Unless she secretly hated allll. And if that's the case, then why are we all here, okay? No. At this point, allll is speechless. He's hurt. His heart is shattering, and he is dumbfounded. He can't believe this betrayal. This is real hurt. He needs to get out of the situation ASAP before he does or says something that he's going to regret. But hey, Rue has her products now, right? So, drugs. So Rue walks in with the suitcase in hand, and her mom is there on the telephone talking, and she sees her come in, and obviously she sees that Rue has a suitcase and is dressed in her clothes. When her mom asks her, are those my clothes? Rue, without missing a beat or a stutter, responds, straight-faced, eye contact and all. Rue is good. So Mama Rue, played by the lovely Miss Nika King, she's having her own little bout of cognitive dissonance because, girl, come on now. Your daughter is in there with the suitcase, sweaty, hot, hair disheveled, and looking nervous. Tells you everything is good, and you just...
Denise? Yeah, that was Rue who just came in here, baby. She's doing so good. I'm so proud of her. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Mama proud. It's my baby girl. She was on drugs, but not no more.
Baby is blind. But I think she wants to see the good in Rue so bad that she's just like, she's missing a lot of what's actually going on. She wants it to be true that her daughter is doing good. So unless it's like a pot over the head, she's probably not gonna see it. Last closing scene, as a little montage comes to the end, we see that Cassie goes to her normal spot to meet Nate for a pickup, and Nate doesn't show because he pulls up to Maddie's with flowers in his hand. What is his motives? They can't be good. I don't think they're good. I know they aren't good, but I want to see what other foolery he has in store for Maddie to get that disc back. And that is the end of the episode. My final thoughts, this episode was a lot. Cal is probably going to do physical harm to Nate now that he knows that he was lying. Maddie is going to fall for whatever Nate has to say. Right now, I don't think Maddie has an idea that Cassie is doing this with Nate. I don't think Maddie has a clue. I thought she did, but I think Maddie is just like, that's my homie, that's my best friend. She would never do that to me. I don't think Maddie, will see this coming. Those are the main predictions that I have for next episode. I just imagine more mess. It's getting there. If you have high blood pressure, now is the time to get off of this emotional roller coaster. Sir, can you stop the ride? I want off. It's okay not to continue. Just come back here. I'll spoon feed it to you. We can still talk about it because it's going to be a lot. Till next time, I love y'all. Y'all know what to do. Be blessed.